You're not a real veteran. Stop pretending. It's honestly disgusting. Karen's voice rang out like a slap across the face in the middle of the HOA meeting, every head in the room snapping toward her as if pulled by gravity. The community center's fluorescent lights buzzed above us, but it was nothing compared to the silence that fell after her accusation. Update 2. Here's a cleaned up, spell-checked version of your text with improved punctuation and readability, while preserving the. She mispronounced the acronym DOD. Karen didn't notice, but I did, and so did a retired Navy officer in the back row, who raised an eyebrow so high I thought it might float off his forehead. Karen beamed with smug satisfaction and said, "Now we're going to give the accused a chance to speak, if he dares." The room went silent. All eyes were on me. I stood up slowly, straightened my posture, not in intimidation, just out of habit, and said, "Thank you, Karen. I'd love the chance to speak." I walked calmly to the front and laid a folder of my own on the table. Inside were my military credentials, active duty identification, command verification from the Department of Defense, a letter from my base's public affairs office, photos of me receiving awards, certification from the Pentagon verifying my current role as base commander. And just to sweeten the moment, I included a formal warning from federal legal counsel outlining the consequences of falsely accusing or harassing an active duty service member. Karen's face dropped as I read the letter aloud, word for word. Her eyes darted across the page like a cornered rat looking for an escape hatch. I finished and calmly said, "Now, if anyone else would like to verify my status, the number for my public affairs officer is printed here. Feel free." Nobody moved. A few people coughed. One man audibly whispered, "Oh my God." Then came the applause. It wasn't loud or wild, just a few claps at first, then more. The retired Navy officer in the back stood up and saluted. I returned it without a word. Karen, meanwhile, looked like someone had yanked her batteries out. Her mouth opened and closed like a fish, her hands trembling slightly as she grabbed for her flimsy file. She stammered something about privacy concerns and possible forgery, but it was clear her fantasy tribunal had just exploded in her face. I sat back down while the board members huddled in panicked whispers. Karen tried to take back the floor, but one of the newer board members stood up and said, "I think we've heard enough. I move that we formally dismiss this accusation and issue a written apology." Someone seconded it. A vote was taken. Karen tried to object, but this time, no one listened. The vote passed and the meeting was adjourned, not with a bang, but a stunned, quiet wave of embarrassment that followed Karen like a storm cloud as people left. Several neighbors came over to shake my hand. One even apologized for not speaking up earlier. The Navy vet gave me a firm nod and said, "Well played, Commander." I gave him a small smile and replied, "Sometimes silence is louder than shouting." As I stepped outside, I noticed Karen was already in her car, gripping the wheel so tightly her knuckles were white. She peeled out of the parking lot like she was escaping a crime scene. The next day, she doubled down. In a desperate move, Karen posted a long-winded explanation on the community Facebook group titled "My Side of the Story." In it, she claimed she was only trying to protect the neighborhood from imposters and that she was acting out of civic duty. The comments were brutal. "You need therapy," wrote one neighbor. "He's literally the base commander." "Sit down," said another. A meme emerged showing her face photoshopped onto a cartoon soldier with the caption "Karen of Valor." But things didn't stop there. She tried filing a formal complaint against me with the HOA